You should always be afraid of a man in an Adidas jumpsuit. Can I get an amen, somebody?
There it is. He's missing his Kangol hat.
Come on, let's go. Hey, I love me a good Kangol hat. This is the Not Offended Podcast. What's going on, everybody? Shout out to everybody who's been tuning in on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere else you can find us, man. We just want to welcome everybody who's just been catching our episodes. We appreciate it. These things have gone viral. How does it feel, guys? Like, you guys are like overnight sensations. We got people making fun of us. I mean, we've arrived. This is what's up.
Hey, people have been making fun of me my entire life, so this ain't nothing new.
Oh, is that what it is? What about you, Bishop? People making fun of you your entire life or no?
Not that I can remember. No.
What about you, Bill? Come on.
Where I was from, everybody's nickname was based off of something that was, derogatory. So does that make sense?
I got called skinny.
Yeah.
A skinny or a twig or something.
Man,
that's what I mean.
Something I've never been called skinny in my entire life. That's good. Well, you've always been skinny. No? Yeah?
Short. Skinny.
Okay.
Here you go.
Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Not Offended Podcast. This is your boy, Anthony. We started out a little different right there, but I want to talk about what we were talking about before we jumped on. And we're talking a little bit about Donald Trump being in the headlines. Might get hemmed up on some charges. Murder was the case that they gave me. Jake, play that beat in the background when it comes, right? I just think...
Wait, he's up for murder now?
No, I'm just kidding. I gotta quote a little hip hop. I grew up off hip hop. I don't know what to tell. I grew up on hip hop. I don't know what to tell anybody. Half the times I'm saying stuff, I got like rap lyrics in my head, and I wasn't always a Christian, so I got a lot of lyrics in my head. But what do you think about these allegations? And do you think Trump's still gonna be the Republican nominee to run against Sleepy Joe Biden? That's your homo right there. It's your uncle right there, right, Mike? Sleepy Joe?
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Hey, he'd be balling out right now.
I know, yeah. I mean, I would have to claim him.
He hooks up all his family.
True. I would claim him for the money. And then once I got the money, I would disown him.
That's a good move. So what do you is Trump in trouble?
Trump's going to be the nominee, but this is all political.
Oh, it's political.
It's pretty obvious.
Can't beat him, attack him?
Sure.
Can if he gets convicted on any felonies, can he run?
I don't think you can.
I don't think it gets to trial before the election. Okay, it's going to take longer than that. And so if Trump wins, does he pardon himself?
That's dope. What do you think, Bishop? Come on. What do you think?
He can win. He can run on that and go, hey, I'm going to pardon myself.
I'm not going to lie. I would pardon myself. You going to pardon yourself?
Yeah, most likely. Yeah,
of course.
That's some Teflon Don stuff right there. That's gangster. I like it. At the Not Offended Podcast, we talk about culture and its influence on the church, but I had to start off with that because I was thinking about, does he really catch a case? And I know we were talking about it before we got on air, so I just thought we'd bring it over. But I do want to talk about some of the comments that people have been leaving and just kind of get your guys' take on it. Like one of the most not recent, but one of the most consistent comments we get is they keep saying, you guys should have changed the name from the Not Offended Podcast to the You're Triggered Podcast. And I thought we've already talked about this, but I don't think they feel us on this. But like, are you ever really offended, Mike? I mean, you the token. Talk to us. Are you offended, or are we just doing this to offend people?
Yeah, I think people think that like after this we go and we really get in more heated debates and we're so animated, and it's just like this is just a regular conversation for us. We just get over it.
What about you, Bishop? You look unwaved. You look unmoved. Like your emotions never really, unless we start talking about trannies with kids. That's the only time you ever get heated, or if we feed you something different. I don't know, but are you ever offended?
No, I'm not offended. I know someone's talking about like the rainbow, like we're afraid of the rainbow. It's like, why would we be afraid of the rainbow for it? Like,
you afraid of the Skittles?
I'm a Christian. It's my thing. It's not yours. You try to steal it.
Hey, tell them you got a rainbow shirt.
More white people trying to steal stuff. No, just
there it is. Oh man. Yeah. More white people trying to steal it from a black man, huh? Yeah. Whatever. Where's Jesse Jackson in?
We wanted Sean to wear his rainbow shirt.
Yeah, there you go. We do want you to wear your. It's Pride Month. You need to wear your rainbow shirt.
Yeah, but people think we're offended by it. Man, just leave my kids alone. We'll be all right. Go do you.
Keep your hands off your money.
Yeah, that'd be cool too.
Get
That'd be
your
good
hands
too.
off the money.
Yeah,
That's
you-
right.
Cut some taxes. That'd be great.
Oh man, hey, how come no more rebates? How come there's no more like stimulus packages? I need a stimmy package, man.
Yeah.
Newsom's he's good right now. He's waiting for something to come up.
Can we dust them up a little bit so he can give a stimmy package?
Yeah, next year, election year.
Yeah.
We might get one.
Man, remember the good old days? We had stimmy packages everywhere. It was good. Okay, what about you? You offended?
Nah, not offended, man. Like Mike said, we don't sit here afterwards and we're all angry or anything like that. Not offended at all.
Okay, here's the other one. They keep calling us we're not Christians, or we're lukewarm Christians, or we don't know how to read our Bible Christians, all because we correct people's bad theology. What do you think about that one, Bishop? You're not a Christian.
You're supposed to love thy neighbor, Deshaun.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. I'm pretty sure I'm a Christian. I'm pretty sure I know the Bible pretty well. I don't know. People are saying the stuff.
But love is love, D. What's wrong with you?
That's not in the Bible.
Hey, I got a question for you. Since it's not in the Bible. You're a resident theologian here, right? I got a serious question. Now, be for real. This audience got to help me out with this. Fact check. All right, fact check. I hear pastors say a lot of times, God loves the sinner but hates the sin. Can I get that Bible verse? I thought about that. Yeah, I thought about that the other day on my morning walk. I don't think there's a verse that says it quite like that. I understand the concept. You got Jake over here. Pondering, but I can hear him grunting over here. You know, one day Jake might get paid. You know what I mean? One day. But he got to step his game up. He got to level up. You know what I mean? Jake, you come up with this answer, Jake. We might level up. Go ask some of your theologian friends. But where does it say that? Where does it say it exactly like that?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, does it?
No.
But do you understand what people are alluding to when they say that?
I kind of understand, but if you don't get your sins forgiven, you going to hell, not just a sin. Like you are.
So me, not my AI version of me.
Yeah,
me.
not that you're saying he's not going to separate the sin go to hell.
Because you
go to
can't
heaven.
separate the sin from the person.
Yeah, you're going to hell.
So what do you think? What do you think about them calling you lukewarm, Togan? What you think about that? You lukewarm. You soft. You ain't a Christian.
Yeah, it's
Why
funny.
they call us
It's
soft?
just,
Oh yeah, we're
man.
soft triggered. We're everything.
hey, lots of people are confident behind a keyboard.
Ooh.
It's somebody in Oklahoma who's sitting in their mom's basement petting their cat who has something to say about us, or they're getting ready for their next tranny rally or whatever it may be. It's just like they just say stuff just to say it because they can. They have some made up name that'll be, their YouTube, whatever name. And they hide behind that. There's all these layers of like hiding.
Oh, hiding.
I mean, I don't really. I just get you guys just tell me what they say. I don't even read it.
Okay. What about you, Bill?
Yeah,
Lukewarm, not a Christian.
Like to know who's saying it first or what their life is like, and so I love how the other side likes to label what a Christian should be like, right? But we'll put up our lives Monday through Sunday, up against anybody and see how we live our lives. So
This is what I've noticed. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. When the left doesn't have an argument, when the woke people don't have an argument, they don't have facts, they don't have stuff to back it up, they just attack your character. Mm-hmm. That's it. I mean, I get attacked all the time.
Or they try to pin you with somebody else who they could.
Here's the most common one. We are fascist, Proud Boy loving, KKK members of the 3% Club, which I don't even know what that is, but I'm just saying. Did you guys know that? I guess we need to address that. You're part of the Proud Boy 3% KKK. I don't know if there's anything else, but did you know that, Bill?
they sure know a lot about these groups. We don't even know what these groups are.
They're probably a part of them. That's why. Okay, or their granddaddies were a part of it. Okay, what did you guys think about that? Have you had a conversation with your mom yet, Deshaun, about this? How you're a Proud Boy KKK member and a 3%er?
No.
How do you think she'd take that? Like, this is going to be quite the conversation. You're coming out of the closet moment.
That's an episode of the Chappelle Show right there. Deshaun going to tell his mom. Well,
be
Mom,
interesting, wouldn't it?
It would be. Yeah.
Okay. No. What about you, Token? You are the resident white person here.
Yeah. Like, I'm all those people. There's no escaping that.
Your sweater guy really is going to be informed. That's mother-in-law in Spanish, guys, because he is married to a Mexican. Your kids, how are you going to explain this to your kids who are halfers?
Yeah, you know it's funny. It's the only person in my life who I text on Father's Day is a black guy. Only roommates I've ever had have all been black guys. My wife's Mexican. My kids are half. Perfect example of a KKK.
I don't know how to respond to that. But it is when they don't got to argue.
Right.
All they do is sling mud.
And
I was going back and forth, and all they want to do is sling mud. Oh, you're just a hypocrite. You're an idiot. And I was like, bro, I just finished your quoting of the Bible. You didn't finish it. Oh, you quoted it wrong. No, here's the chapter and verse.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So I got something serious to talk about. Listeners, you got to hear this. I was thinking about this the other day. Graduations are in full effect. Do you guys remember like your best graduation gift? Mine was always money. That's what's up. Matter of fact, I'd go to school right now again just to get some money. You know what I mean? Like to graduate.
Anybody get a car?
Did you get a car? I didn't get a car.
I saw that in the movies.
Got a car.
I don't think it's
I saw
real.
it in the movies.
Yeah, it's a Hallmark movie, bro. That's not real life. Okay, in the audience, if you got a car for graduation, let us know and put a picture of the car you got if you can, because we happy for you. I mean, I grew up poor, man. I don't know what to tell you. I mean,
Well, I didn't get the car. I'm just saying.
oh, okay. I got like $20. Had an uncle maybe like 50. You know what I mean? But I didn't really get much. But I have a thought, and I got to run this by you. This is COVID kids. These are the kids who were impacted by COVID. This was a COVID graduation. And what I mean by is this was the freshman class who were halfway into their year when COVID hit. And I wonder how this generation is going to play out. I wonder what's going on, because listen to what they had to deal with. I'm being serious now, because I literally took a step back because I live right down the street from a high school that hosts a lot of graduations. And I'm watching all these people graduate, and I'm thinking, what kind of hell have you been through for the last 4 years? And listen, let me give you a couple things. You didn't get to go to one of your proms. You didn't get to go to one of your winter formals. For the graduating classes ahead of you, they couldn't really invite people. You had to wear a mask. Girls had to compete against boys. You had the BLM shoved down your throat. You had the gay trans movement shoved down your throat. Your emotional health went to pots because you had no emotional interaction with the people because you had to socially distance. Young men were taught that it was bad to be born a male and you should apologize for you being born a man. And then we had the biggest question of all, what is a man? Because men can bleed like women and women can pee standing up like men. We have totally jacked up a generation to where men, this has been proven already. They say these young men that have graduated, they have lower testosterone, they've been feminized, and they feel completely ashamed that they were born a man. What did we leave our children? These are COVID kids who had to graduate or who did graduate. We screwed them up. So out of these things that I listed, we'll start with you, Bill, the agent here. Which one do you think is going to be a bigger problem in the future, or starting now and in their future? Which one of these things that I listed, what's really going to hurt this generation?
Well, I think all those things are going to be impactful. For me, when I think of the kids being away or on lockdown for a year and a half, is definitely the emotional health. One, you think about, alcohol went up, alcohol use, drugs,
suicide, everything,
domestic abuse, all that. These kids had to be at home during that period of time, away from friends and all that. And so anxiety's gone up. I think that's going to be the longest lasting effects, is definitely their emotional health. And we'll see what happens, next couple of years to these kids and how they can get back. So
this is the Not Offended Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, that is. I mean, please tune in, leave a comment. We're talking about, this was COVID kids graduation, the class of 2023. They were shut down in the middle of their freshman year, told to social distance, go on Zoom. We talked about the issues that they're facing now. Token, I ask you, what's going to be the biggest deal, the biggest problem they have to deal with? Is it going to be the BLM, the trans gay thing, the emotional health, young men not knowing what real masculinity is? What's going on with this generation? What is going to be? I'm going to throw one more. How about a lying government that told you vaccines work and that masks work, and school boards that are completely corrupt? What is going to be what is going to be their biggest issue going forward?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues is the attack on just their gender, and so not necessarily the trans and gay thing, but just men, young boys not being able to be proud of being men, but then also women not being not being able to be proud to be women, and then also having to compete with, in athletics, having to compete with men, on the women having to compete with men. I think it's crazy, because what culture is saying, when culture, I mean media and things like that, is that, if you dress up like a squirrel or something like that, and you're part of the furry club or whatever that may be, then that's okay. But if you are the way that God has made you, and you're a beautiful young woman or you're a strong young man, you can't take pride in that. And that, what do you grow up with? I mean, what do you continue to blossom into is something that you're not allowed to be proud of. And so you suppress it, you don't express it. And you're going to have young men and young women who are just, they're going to be lacking confidence. They're going to be lacking any social skills because of all the other stuff that went on. These kids are jacked up.
Okay, what you got, Bishop? Talk to us. What's going to be the biggest issue? What's going to be the fallout? What's going to be the struggle?
Depending on kids' background, their family situation in terms of their parents or with their grandparents and them working or not, them just being alone, not having that support there. I think, me personally, if this would happen when I was in high school, I'd be okay. I had great parents. The area that I lived, I had a lot of friends that we will just hang out outside.
So you wouldn't have been socially distancing?
Yeah, we wouldn't have cared. But I think those kids who are alone for such a long time, weren't able around other kids, that makes a big deal. This even with my small kids who are really young. But the way because we kept meeting with other people, hanging out with other kids, they can go to a park and don't have to know anyone to be able to hang out with anyone. You see other kids who aren't able to do that, just because they have the distance, they haven't been around people. They get anxious when they're around other kids.
Right.
And to see that maybe high school kids the same way, they've been away from people for that long, to go back to an area where there's hundreds of kids, the anxiety they must feel, just man, this is too many people, and not able to deal with society. Now you graduated, you have to go into the workforce. You're not ready to be around those people. You're not ready to be an adult because you haven't formed those things you need to form in high school.
When I was sitting back and I was thinking about this, I'm going to tell you what I really think is going to be, I would say, the biggest struggle to overcome. Right there, the largest adversity it's for the young men. I think other nations are looking at us and they're licking their chops. I think other nations are going, look at this. It's the wussification of a generation where young men, listen, the people always make the big deal there's always been a gender pay gap. Men always make more than women because men do more dangerous things. Men are walking high-rise buildings to be sheet metal workers for, 100-story buildings or 80-story buildings or whatever. We lay pavement, we do concrete, we do construction, we roof, we weld. We do the things that are dangerous. Right. And part of it, it's in our nature and our nurture. And what's happened is we've dumbed down our young men. We've made them feel ashamed for how they were created. Yeah. And now they're not being brave anymore. They're not bold. Instead of telling that young kid, jump out of the tree. Let's see what happens. That's great. That's part of being a boy. Ride your bike. See if you can make that jump. Do these things. And now it's play it safe. We need to be cautious. I think these other countries are looking at us thinking, man, they're not going to have any soldiers. Listen, it is much better to be a warrior in a garden than to be a gardener in a war. I love that quote. And we've got to teach this generation how to fight again and how to push back against these woke agendas. Because I'm telling you right now, we need a generation of young men to rise up. At the going rate right now, people aren't having kids. And if you don't have kids, your whole nation is going to cease to exist. We need to teach young men how to find a godly woman, get married, get in a career, and have a whole bunch of kids. Have as many as you can so the faith can go forward. I'm telling you right now, if you look at other countries, that's exactly what's going on. In the Muslim community, in the Hindu communities, in the Sikh communities, they're having a whole bunch of kids because they know this is how you do it. For them, it's, I shouldn't say all of them, for a lot of them, it's the takeover. And we have a systemic issue right now of a woke agenda of pushing against men. And I will not let that happen on my watch. I want to find every young man I can and say, hey, this is real masculinity. It's not about going to the club and going home with some hot chick. It's about finding a godly wife, getting a good career, and leaving a lasting legacy. It's not about your body count. It's about whether or not you believe in Christ Jesus as your Lord and Savior. We need to redeem this generation when it comes to the young men. If we don't and we lose a generation of young men, it's over. It's over. You will watch it crumble. And I'm telling you right now, this to me is the biggest issue of our day. Because if we'd have had strong men right now, which they're rising up and they found their voice, we'd be pushing back these woke school boards like they're doing in Glendale. I want to roll a clip of a father right now that's Glendale, California. Watch this dad speak to the school board, and he's pushing back against this woke agenda. He says, no more. Watch this clip right here.
Thank you for letting me speak here today. I'm here to talk as a parent. I've got 2 young boys. We live in Glendale. And when they come of age, I am deeply concerned about their educational prospects in this city. I'm also a taxpayer. I pay a lot of taxes in this city, many of which go to this district. And I'm deeply concerned about how that money is being spent, particularly, and I'm going to single out a person at in the school district named Dr. Kelly King, who's sitting right here to my left. Dr. Kelly King makes over $250,000 a year. Every 4 years, we give her $1 million. We will be paying for her pension for, the duration of her life after she retires. And she's doing things that I completely disagree with, and I think many members of the community would also disagree with. Previous speakers have mentioned the number of Armenians who live in Glendale. How many Armenians would support what she does? Let me discuss what she's doing. In a recent video in 2017, she reflected Glendale Unified policy when she stated, and I'm going to quote, we have a lot of resistance from male coaches who are horrified at the thought of having a biological girl changing clothes in front of them. Which biological girls are changing clothes in front of coaches in Glendale Unified? That's a question I'm genuinely asking. She continued, it's not a girl. It's not a girl. It's not a girl. You only have boys in the boys' locker room. She just said it was a biological girl.
May I just stop
I'm
for a
speaking
moment?
now. You're not. No, I'm speaking. This is interrupting my time.
Well, we
Can I
can
pause
pause
this,
the
please?
time. Can you pause the time for a minute? I only want to say that to refrain from personal attacks. So
She
please.
is a government official. She's a government employee. This is not a personal attack. I pay her salary with my tax dollars.
Again, please talk towards the policies that you
I'm
are
talking about-
against
and
and
if-
refrain from personal attacks, and your time will continue. Please go ahead.
In what way have I personally attacked Dr. King? She is acting within her official role as assistant superintendent at Glendale Unified. How is that a personal attack? I'm talking about tax dollars being used in a way that I disagree with. I'm going to continue.
Continue talking about the policy that you disagree with.
Dr. King quoted to say that biological girls were changing in front of male coaches. And then, so she knows it's a biological girl, and then proceeded to say it's not a girl 3 times. You know it's a girl. You know it's a girl. Or
Okay,
you know
so
it's a
she's
boy.
an
You know
employee
it's a
of
boy.
ours, and if you wouldn't mind telling us what policy you dislike.
There is why am I being interrupted for speaking about an official member, a superintendent at Glendale Unified, speaking in an official manner? You cannot interrupt me for that. You have no ability to do that. And furthermore, the rules stated you won't debate. You're debating me right now. Correct? I'm going to continue. In discussing permanent records, she states that she keeps permanent records for a handful of trans students literally next to her in her room. She does not indicate that person's gender identity for fear that the parent might find out. Why is she concealing this from parents? She says, we kind of go out on a limb, and we know that's controversial to some people. Which people? Which parents? Armenian parents? Christian parents? Are those the ones who are being excluded from knowledge on their own children and their own identity in Glendale's Unified School District? And you preach inclusive policies. We can talk about that policy. Yet she's excluding parents.
So
She's
again,
excluding parents. I'm going to continue.
And I might just ask for a pause and ask for information. Maybe I'm mistaken. Can you pause the time for a moment, Mr. Sahakyan? Thanks. So I wouldn't mind getting input in terms of, is this?
So my understanding, again, is that we are the arbiters of policy. That is our decision. And so our employees are operating based off of our direction and the direction up here at the dais. So it is appropriate to criticize the policy. It is appropriate to question that. It is not appropriate to personally attack and denigrate a specific employee. I do not believe that that is covered under the public comment.
I'm not personally attacking anybody.
Yes, you are, sir.
No, ma'am, I am not. I am not personally attacking her. I disagree with what she said in her role as assistant
so
superintendent.
Then you disagree with the policy, so please continue with the disagreement of the policy.
I am disagreeing with her, and this is not, you are debating me right now. You said you would not debate me. Why are you debating me?
So you're using that particular thing inappropriately, the fact that we don't debate. So
I am not attacking her personally. This is under her official role as assistant superintendent at Glendale Unified. You are not allowing me to speak freely in a government entity about a government employee. I pay her taxes. I have every right to speak about her in particular within her role. I'm not talking about where she lives, what she looks like, anything like that. Nothing personal. This is purely professional, and this is purely governmental. Can I continue?
Try to keep it professional.
I've already told you what I'm doing, and I'm making that very clear, and I'm not going to change.
Keep it professional.
I have not. I have only kept this professional. You are debating me, and you are violating your own rules.
So, Mr. Sahakyan, go ahead and open the time again.
Thank you so much. Dr. Kelly King has worked with Gender Spectrum, an organization which you guys have actually paid money to in several schools. If that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. She's worked with Gender Spectrum to produce gender support plans. In these gender support plans, she ranks parents whether on how affirming they are on a scale of 0 to 10. Who determines that? Based on what criteria? I'd love to know that policy. She says, if the parent's not affirming, the parent may not be involved in this document. That's the gender support plan. This may be a private conversation. So let's talk personal now, because she is. This may be a private conversation between that trusted adult at the school. Is that adult trusted by the parent? Who is the trusted adult? Define trust, please. This may be a private conversation between that trusted adult at the school and the student about how we keep you safe at home, emotionally and physically. Who's personal? Who's professional? Personally, I'm being professional. What she has done and the policies none of you have spoken out against is a complete deviation from that sacred boundary between government and personal lives and privacy, especially of minors. And we're talking about sexuality, sexual identity, and you're not going to divulge that to parents intentionally. And again, she makes over $250,000 a year. While 43%, only 43% of Glendale Unified high schoolers are proficient in math upon graduation. Only 65% are proficient in reading, and you pay that much money to institute those policies while you're literally failing to produce the adequate students for the 21st century. Thank you so much.
You should always be afraid of a man in an Adidas jumpsuit. Can I get an amen, somebody?
There it is. He's missing his Kangol hat.
Come on, let's go. Hey, I love me a good Kangol hat. Hey, let me tell you something. This is the Not Offended Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We're talking about what's getting spicy down in Glendale. Man, hey, you think that father was upset? I'm going to roll another clip right now. I'm going to show you what happened at a school board meeting right outside. You had a whole bunch of angry and upset parents. Watch this clip right here.
Breaking news at 11, pushing and then punches. A sudden explosion of violence between LGBTQ rights advocates and a group of conservative protesters. This chaos unfolding in Glendale as the local Board of Education was set to adopt the month of June as Pride Month for its schools. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter was there for all of it. She joins us live now tonight from Glendale. Leanne.
Mark, in the end, 3 people were arrested. The school board forced to shelter in place after that violence broke out between the two sides. Protesters come to blows over LGBTQ plus rights. The two sides facing off outside the Glendale Board of Education meeting. One side angry over the gender identity curriculum and policy.
These people are shoving their LGBT agenda down children's throats, and it's not okay.
The other in full support.
The well-being and the inclusion of LGBTQ voices within school curriculum and programming is not a topic of discussion. It's a civil right that was earned by decades of brave LGBTQ plus activism.
Close to 500 turning out, police dividing the opponents as tempers flared.
Woo! Hey, I don't know if anybody else did you see Homeboy swinging? Anybody else see that? Yeah. That dude was swinging. And he was throwing, we call those haymakers. Boy, haymakers, right? Listen, do you blame the parents? Do you blame, they've had enough. Mike, what do you think? You blame the parents? They've had enough, bro.
Yeah, when you start to find out that they've got teachers who are now, tranny and they're PE teachers, and you have a biological male teacher in a girl's locker room watching girls get dressed.
We got problems?
Yeah, there's problems.
D, we got problems? We got problems?
Yeah, I mean, if I've had one of my kids' teacher just trans, my kid is coming out of the class immediately.
You don't care what happens?
It doesn't matter. I don't know how we gonna figure it out. But they're not going to that school. They're not being in that class.
Okay, but if they had a PE teacher, a man dressed up as a woman, watching your daughter change, you got problems?
We got problems.
We got problems. Bill, we got problems.
Yeah, I read this one.
Bill's always so mild about it. He's like, well, we got to be scared of people like you.
Here's the thing, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I read something that said, don't ask the question, why do people want to transition man to women? Ask why these trans folks want to be at schools and around children. Right? So why are they going into schools? Why is this so important? Why are they going, library reading and all that stuff? Why are they going around the kids?
Okay, I got a question then. Okay, can I piggyback off that question real quick? Let me ask you this. If the gay community, not all of them, by the way, we're going to show you a clip from a group called Gays Against Groomers, and I'm going to get to that in a second, on how this whole thing started in Glendale, okay? That's Glendale, California, okay, right outside of Anaheim. I have another question. And I mean this sincerely, okay? On the Not Offended podcast, Culture's Influence on the Church. If there are a segment of gay people, trans people, or whatever that LGBT, the rest of the alphabet stuff, right? If there's a segment of people that believe you are born that way, which I don't. I think it's never been proven. If you think that, then why do you need to be around kids? Because the kids, if they're born that way, they're just going to end up that way. Why do you need to be with them? Why do you need storybook hour? Why do you need drag hour? Why do you need tranny hour? Why do you need it? If you really feel they're born that way, then they're just going to end up that way. I mean, if you were born heterosexual, didn't y'all end up with a woman? If you really believe that, put your money where your mouth is. Now go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think they're pushing for that anymore. That it's no longer a choice or they're born that way. I think it's really what you want to identify with. And so it's fluid, all these things. And so I don't necessarily get what they're saying.
Word.
Yeah.
I hate that word. Just like I hate the word non-binary. This is some made up stupid words. Go out. Sorry.
I don't know. That's all I had to say, man.
Okay. I can't stand those words. Like you start saying those words, I just get all like flustered, man. Like, oh man, like it's the dumbest words ever. What do you guys think? I think he brings up a good point. Why do they want to be around the kids? Why is it so important to dress up like a woman, put on some fake breasts, and go do story time with young kids? Why?
Yeah, they're just grooming. They're trying to teach the kids like a new normal. And so...
is that normal?
No.
For a man to put on lipstick, eyelashes, hair, fake boobs?
A new normal. So they're going for a new normal. And so they're trying to get the kids, as young as they can, to be able to see that, hey, this way of thinking, this new normal, this is where you should be. It was funny, not funny, but disheartening that they had the Gay Pride Parade here in Fresno a couple weeks back, And
speak on it. I know exactly where you're going.
And Fresno Unified, the school district here, they bust in multiple buses to the elementary school over here, and they all gathered around, and they all went together down to the parade. And it's, you know, if you think it's not happening at your school, if you think these conversations are not happening, if you think these books aren't being, you know, put out there, it is. It is. You know, your teacher may be one of those that doesn't really necessarily go along with it, but the teacher next door has got a flag up in her room.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so in the conversations with
they had a theme for the year, if I'm not correct. Was it gay all day or pride all year? They had a theme for the year.
Queer all year.
Queer all year.
Not the school, but the parade.
No, they said that was a Fresno Unified theme. I'd have to go back. I'm almost positive. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that.
I didn't hear that for the school.
Okay, I'd have to look at the post.
Glendale did something.
Okay, so you're saying at the parade they called it queer all year.
Yeah, the Fresno parade.
What do you think about that? I mean, I think Mike's. I think he's 100% right.
Yeah, you have to be aware of what your kids are learning, what they're watching on TV. Like you have to be involved in what's going on. Because they're trying to go through your kids. It's a bunch of pedophiles, a bunch of dudes that's like women looking for little kids. These are all dudes that...
So what do you think about the Glendale? What do you think about that pushback?
Oh, it's great.
Hey, you liked it, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, tu lucha es mi lucha. That's your struggle. I need some more Armenian friends. Come on.
I got to hang out with them.
Yeah, they don't play, bro.
They down. I'll stand right behind them. You go do it.
Hey, they ain't playing. We need to find that here. Where's that community that's going to say is enough? And here's what's crazy. So I did a little, I'm not saying this with 100% of surety, but I think I'm right. I want to know, when did this start? When did this start popping off, right? I believe I found a school board meeting where this young woman who has some, I believe she's has some disabilities, some special needs. I'm going to let, that's what was in the captions. Anyway, long story short, she goes up in front of a school board because she got suspended, and she does this. And I want to show you the clip because it's right after this, everything starts popping off. Like, hey, what's going on at the school? And my heart goes out to her as you watch this. I think your heart will go out to her as well. Watch this.
Oh, yeah. Good evening. No.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I would like to explain of my teachers. My teachers were going to send me to the principal's office when I told them that I was against my beliefs and that I felt uncomfortable. There's a female, which I'm not exactly sure. It isn't my religion to know what are people and what they identify or do not identify. I got in trouble one time, many times, of my English teacher, Mr. Moore. I got in trouble because I called this girl, Kenny, a girl. I got in trouble for it because I wasn't exactly sure. I never knew what it was. My teacher said I used the wrong pronouns. That's not what they identify as. I said I'm not exactly sure if they have breasts and ovaries and a vagina. And I wasn't exactly sure. I'm sure they have short hair and that's what they identify as, and their pronoun. I got in trouble for it many times.
Man, that's just hard to watch. I don't know. Let's get some first reactions right here on the Not Offended podcast. Bill, what did you think when you first started watching that?
She was suspended?
Yeah, they said she was suspended for the not dressing out. And then for the pronouns, for calling the teacher by her, Miss Her.
So here's my first. Nobody's off limits for this agenda, right?
Wow.
Even special needs, younger, older. You're gonna obey.
So Black Lives don't matter?
Yeah. So
I just thought I'd throw it
that's
out
my
there,
first
just
thought.
asking.
Is that they'll go after anybody, right? That's my initial thought of that.
What do you think, Bishop?
Yeah, I wouldn't have my kid in that class in the first place. There's no way.
Bro.
No way.
Nuts. Got in trouble because of the female teacher, and she said Mrs. And she referred to her as her.
But it was a dude. right?
No, that was the PE. That was
PE.
2 separate instances.
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Bro, what? We've lost our flipping minds. Talk to me, Mike. What?
Well, I teach my kids all the time. You have options. So my options were, if I was her dad, jail.
Okay, it's always an option.
Or pulling her out of school.
I'm gonna go with pulling her out of school
because that is not flying. That is not flying.
Okay.
That's crazy.
But what do you think about what Bill said? Obviously, there's nobody ever.
It's
Man.
true. It's true.
Nobody's off limits.
It's the new normal. It's the new normal.
So it's the gay agenda, it's the trans agenda above everything else.
Oh yeah, I mean it trumps race.
Being a trans dude, you got the most rights, and you should get beat the worst because you're the sickest person. You're the sickest person. Guys are already messed up. All guys. They all need Jesus. We all need Jesus.
I'll agree with that.
A dude dressed up like a woman to go hang out with little girl, like
sure.
you are the sickest.
Man, you make no apologies about that, do you?
No, like why are we
nobody should.
There's no way
right?
you have to. You don't have to protect pedophiles.
Come on, say it again for the people in the back. I mean, let them tweet about this. Let them post about this. Go ahead.
Even Jesus said it. It'd be better for you to have a millstone turn around your neck and throw it into the ocean. Jesus said it.
If you cause one of these little ones to stumble.
That's what Jesus said.
And that's stumbling.
So let's go. Never mind.
Hey, and I want to say, Cindy Keyboard Warrior, he's 6'4" black man. Come say it to his face.
No, I'm good. I'm
gonna back you up, though. Don't worry about it. Deshaun ain't never been in a fight in his life. I'll back you up, D. Don't worry about it, man. I got you. Straight from the body OSA, okay? Okay. So I think it's great. It's pushing back. You know what I think is happening? And we got a lot of clips in this episode. I got to show you something else. I had a homie send me this. But I think because of the tenacity and because of the forcefulness of this agenda, I believe they are actually creating the blowback for themselves. I'm talking about the gay community. I'm telling you right now, I'm watching a generation of kids in school start to fight back. We had that kid up in Idaho who wore the shirt 2 genders and said, hey, there's only 2 genders. And he got suspended. And look how everybody rallied around him. Now watch this video. This is filmed inside of a class in Huntington Beach. And listen to the kids in the comments. Watch this right here.
Wow, Miss Clark. Wow. Why are you showing this to kids?
Hey, I'll warn you guys now, if you're going to be inappropriate, I will have supervision down and give all of you a Saturday school for next year. So knock it off.
Okay.
Whoa. You know you got problems when the teachers got to start saying, I will suspend you and give you Saturday school. Now, just by a quick show of hands, how many of you ever been to Saturday school? That's what's up. I led the procession in that one. I was there every weekend. One? I was, man.
We didn't have Saturdays.
Just so you know, though, I didn't mind. I probably shouldn't say this, but I didn't mind because my teacher was cute, though, bro. Like Saturday school was fun. Like it was like, hey, Saturday school again. That's what's up. You know, but there'd be like half the football team. Like we were always in trouble. So, you know, I know what you're thinking. Typical chalk right there. I'm just telling you as a 16-year-old kid what was going through my mind. That was all.
Typical football player.
Man, don't act like you baseball players are innocent.
I'm just saying.
You got baby mamas in like 17 states. My gosh.
Yeah,
okay, he's not talking about me. All right, just so we're clear.
Your coach called the teacher, hey, I need him to play this weekend. He make up his work.
Right, send him to Saturday school.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. But what did you think about that? You hear the kids in the class, like, they're tired of it. They're tired of it. And they're starting to do that. Like, there's a swell rising. There's something rising right now. Bishop, what do you think? What did you think when you saw that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not, nah. I would say, like, you know, a group comes together and you sort of set the rules and the culture of what's going on, which isn't always good.
I just said that. It's not good.
Which is always good.
It's not good.
But sometimes they can set things right.
Okay.
This group of kids came together and they're like, this ain't right. You know, we want to let that be known.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they're overplaying their hand. They're doing too much. They're doing too much. They got their hand slapped with Bud Light, then they got their hand slapped with Target.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, kids in general, like, you know, high school age kids, like, they don't like being told what to do. and they really don't like being told that they've got to go along with all this other stuff. Right. And so I think that there will be a generation that's rising up right now who they may support the LGBT community, but they're just being tired of having to be told exactly what that looks like.
Bill, give me your thought on that.
Mike said it. Mike said everything that needs to be said there. I think for sure the rise of these kids is it's a good thing. They're going to be pushing back. The LGBTQ community might become too popular where it's uncool to be that in that group, and then there's kind of a reverse effect on there. So,
well, I'm going to tell you this: if any young man, which I know there are young men who are watching, let me give you a word of advice, young man. All of our lives as young men, we're taught to be that rebel. We're talked about going against the grain. We're talking about who's going to be that warrior. You need to be that warrior. You need to stand up. You need to push back against this. And trust me, the world's just waiting for a hero. They're just waiting for a leader. They're just waiting for somebody to say, listen, you're not going to push that down on me. I'm not hating on you, but you ain't going to push that on me. I'm going to say that's not how God has created these things. That's not how God has created me. And if we're just going to be expressing ourselves, I'm going to express myself. There are two genders. I don't want your fake, false, woke ideology. I'm going to keep my biblical theology. And we're just waiting. Everybody wants to follow a hero. Don't worry, young man. I got you. I believe in you. I know you got what it takes. And it's time to push against that. It's time to go against the flow. I'm so tired of watching everybody just bow their knees from fake mayors to compromised pastors. You, young man, you stand up and be a leader and you watch. You're going to turn around. There are people following you. They are following you. And I'm not talking about these sports athletes, these superstars who just kowtow and who bow down themselves because of money and because of pressure and because of getting canceled and threats of being canceled. No, you stand up, young man, and watch. People will follow. People don't follow PhDs. They don't follow people who are eloquent in speech. They follow people who have courage. You find that courage and people will follow you and they will get behind you because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for that next Leonidas. They're looking for that next Gladiator. They're looking for that next William Wallace. They're looking for that next Dr. King. They're looking for somebody who will stand up on principle and say, enough is enough. I'm pushing back against it. Young man, that could be you. Okay, we got a problem. Okay, I've been waiting to talk about this on the Not Offended podcast. AB 957. If you don't live in California, it probably means nothing to you. But if you don't live in California, you need to be praying for us. This is serious. We have a bill hitting the floor, the Senate floor at State Capitol. And I'm going to sum it up, and then I'm going to let you watch. Actually, you know what? We have a clip of the co-author of the bill. She's going to express it in her own words. This is going to make you cringe. It's time to fight back. Watch this.
So this particular bill adds the very important factor that affirming a child's gender identity is in their best interest, which is what your question is about. Why does it actually say that in an affirmative way? And it really is because if you have a 7-year-old who's talking about having a potential to say, being able to articulate that they believe that they are not the same gender as they are biologically, then it should be affirmed. And through care, it should be determined. And that's what we did with our own child. And that would give the ability for a parent who wasn't sure to affirm and get their child the care that they need to make that, till they can begin to articulate that determination. But by saying and rejecting it in wholesale, then you're essentially rejecting your child. And that is not in the best interests of a child. We should be affirming our children in every possible way and getting them whatever appropriate care they need, whether it's based on their gender, whether it's based on how their studies are in school. It doesn't matter. Our children should be affirmed. And this is saying that you have to include gender affirmation as a part of it.
Man, hey, yo, kind of makes me happy I ain't got small kids. Like, I'm gonna get for you guys got real small kids. Yo, Bishop, man, talk to me. She out of her freaking mind, right?
Yeah, when you guys when I first saw this, I was like, man, should I leave California? Go Texas.
I don't blame. Hey, yo, real talk, man. Like, I don't blame you too. I mean, I ain't even mad at you. We'll plan a church wherever you guys go. I gotta get the heck out of that, bro. Could you imagine CPS showing up to your door to take your kid?
Don't say anything.
Yeah, that might incriminate you later. Yeah, don't say anything. Yeah, okay, we don't have small kids over here. Could you imagine CPS? You can say whatever you want. You imagine CPS showing up to your door because a teacher, a gay teacher, a trans teacher, whatever, said that you didn't provide a safe space for your 6-year-old who yesterday thought he was Batman, but today thinks he's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, this is scary times for sure.
You can say whatever you want because your kids are older.
Yeah,
you can't get incriminated.
Yeah, they're a little older, but it still could happen. Yeah, this is a scary time because a lot of things that happen within California kind of translate over to other states and the rest of the United States. So I know you said a lot of people watch that's not from California, but we need to really pay attention to this for sure.
So AB 957 will require California courts to deny custody to non-gender affirming parents in custody disputes. What does your 6-year-old kid really know? He knows when he's hungry. That's all he knows.
Yeah, learning the days of the week and.
He don't know Sunday from Monday unless there's some church or food involved.
Yeah, true.
Hey, but he knows the difference between a kiss at the end of a burger, though.
Yeah, but here's the new normal, right? So what's happening is that they're trying to teach kids this new normal, and the new normal is so confusing. And so the kids start to wrestle with these confusing thoughts, and the parent, our job is supposed to help them to navigate life. Our job is supposed to come alongside them and say, hey, that's a confusing thought. Let me help you correct that. Hey, that thought's kind of off bounds. Like, let me correct it. Hey, you're right on with that one. Good job, son. But what they're doing is they're taking that parental part out of it, where there are these confusing thoughts, and they're wanting them to stay confused. And they're going to say, you're not allowed to correct those confusing thoughts because those are not actually confusing thoughts. That's the new norm. And so you need to bow down to this new norm, or we're going to potentially take your kid.
Deshaun, I mean, you and I got to have a conversation. There's a reason why you and I got to have a conversation, okay? For years, the black community was marginalized. And don't at me with no stuff, okay? Just hear me out. People already, I can see it already. And they said, how do we destroy the nuclear family? How do we destroy the family of the black community? They went after the dads. Mass incarcerations, which was under Bill Clinton. Super predator bill. You woke idiots. Okay. Next, they said, how do we do this? We go into the school systems and we get rid of the trade schools. No more coming out carpenters and plumbers. Boy, if you was a carpenter and a plumber right now, you'd be making some good money. If you were a welder, you're going to write your own dollars. Okay. And they said, we have to go after the fathers. And what they do, they had the government step in and say, we'll be your daddy. And I don't understand. I cannot figure out for the life of me in the black community, if for years you have said your kids have been targeted, they are targeting your kids now like never before, and you sit quiet. And now I say this now to you, back to me, and then I'm gonna let you comment. To the Hispanic community, you always say, tu lucha es mi lucha, your struggle is my struggle, right? You always said, and then you watch what was happening with the Zoot Suiters, Pachucos down in LA. You talk about all the segregation, talk about people calling you wetback mojados and all this stuff. And yet you are standing by California. If black and brown people would get on the same page, we can make a change right now. But you got compromised black pastors. You got even more compromised brown pastors who won't stand up and take charge and say, no more, no más aquí, no more here. Not with the kids. Keep back away from our kids. But instead, we've allowed the government to come in and be some type of stepdaddy or sugar daddy. Push back against the welfare. We need to be screaming for schools to get rid of this woke agenda and put back in trade schools. Put back in the things that matter, that we can start making money and fending for ourselves, and we need to start promoting families again. No more having 7 different baby mamas. Stick with one woman, get a good job, and have a whole bunch of kids. D, I'm ranting again. Talk to me. Am I spot on?
Yeah, I heard some politician, it might have been AOC, actually said it, and she made a good point. She was like, you never heard someone who's on welfare say, I want less welfare. I don't know. I don't know if it was her or not. I can't remember.
Hey, but that still rings true.
I was like, you're right. And so if we all agree with, most people agree that's true. So you're going to keep voting that side no matter what, because you want to keep seeing your money come. And the other side might take away your money. So you're afraid. And again, like you're saying, it sort of almost awards you for being a single parent and not being in a marriage. I know someone right now who they're talking about how they're trying to legally separate, even though they want to be together, so their kids can get better scholarships. Wow. It incentivizes them to be separated. And it's And that's what our society is doing, that it devalues the father. And I think I always come back to like I think the thing that we have to focus on the most, at least we have to start with, is how are you doing with your kids? Are you actually meeting? Are you actually talking with them? Because I know my kids who are younger, but I have a son and a daughter who are getting more aware of their body. And my son doesn't want to be seen naked by everyone now anymore.
Of course.
He's become more aware.
Which is normal.
And so like I need to be there for them and help him walk that through and realizing who he is as a man and realizing that he doesn't have to be ashamed of his body. But yeah, there is a time to cover up. There's a time to do it. So you don't have to be around mom and your sister. You can
how
come
to
to
be
my
proper.
room
Absolutely.
and come change. All these little things like that, I don't want the teacher teaching them. I want to teach him that I want to instill in him. Make sure I'm there for those moments. I think that's where it first starts. Because then when you're having those conversations, you'll be able to hear that, hey, your teacher said what? What's going on? But if you're not even there to even be there for the little things, you're going to miss some of those things.
Man, pastor, believer, Christian, follower of Christ. If you don't live in Cali, we could share you some prayers. If you live in Cali, you need to be saying prayers. You need to be speaking up. I want to talk to the leaders. I want to talk to the men of God out there. I want to talk to the pastors who are leading their church. If there's ever been a message that needs to get over-preached, it's on family. I could not agree more with the men of God that are on this panel with me, who I soldier up with, who I get in foxholes with every time, who I would take on anybody with these men right here. I'm ready. We ready to go to war, y'all. And I ain't talking about no physical war. I'm talking about spiritual. Man of God, listen to me. You are a prophet. You a priest. You a king. You a warrior out there. You need to start fighting back. I'm telling you, this is some spiritual warfare. I couldn't agree more. We're not devaluing men at this church. We are raising them up. We are lifting them up. We are not calling them out. We're calling them up to be greater, to do better, to be better. I'm telling you right now, your kids need you. Hey, listen, I know your dad wasn't there for you. Hey, I get it, but you can be there for them. We need to start pushing back against this. We need to start having conversations with our sons, having conversations with our daughters. We need to show them the way. We need to model it. I know you're tired when you got home. I know you worked a hard job, and I know it's hard and it ain't paying what it should get paid, and you ain't got that promotion. I get it. You got 100 reasons why to quit and have an excuse, but lean in. Find yourself a mentor. Find yourself another man of God. If you're in the Fresno area, come to our Tuesday night Bible studies. We will affirm you as a man. We will tell you got what it takes. We'll be a shoulder to cry on, and we'll be your boot camp instructor if you need a swift kick in the butt. But I'm telling you right now, man, you matter. And we ain't gonna let nobody come in here and tell us how to run our households. Because I'm telling you now, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids don't know come here from Sikkim. No, we're gonna push back against this. We're gonna vote different. It's gonna hit different. We're gonna make a difference. Now is our finest hour. This is our time. It's here and now. It's not tomorrow. Get your head out of the sand. Buckle up. Let's go. It's time to make a difference. This has been the Not Offended Podcast. Make sure you share it with somebody. Peace. We're out.